Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast, our brand new episode this week, where it's been a really tough week to be a Rangers fan, isn't it? Obviously, the Liverpool game, what we'll go on to first, the Motherwell game, obviously back to winning ways, but in really poor fashion. We need to talk about Giovanni Van Bronckhorst now. Is he the right man to go and lead us forward? Is his position as secure as some might think? We'll give our thoughts on him as a manager, what needs to happen for now until the World Cup break. But until then, if you could like, subscribe, share for us, always appreciated. We have to go on to the absolute mauling first at Ibrox. That didn't seem like it was going to be a mauling in the first half, by the way. Like,
No.
first half's kind of everything you really want, competing against a top level opposition like Liverpool, competing, trying everything you can to really get forward and create anything, which I thought we'd done really well in the first half, limited Liverpool to nothing, which is parallel to the second half, is just night and day. Connor Goldson was probably a big part of that. He obviously went off injured and gets our best wishes for his recovery, because he's going to be a massive miss for at least a couple of months anyway. But thoughts on the game for me personally, I was happy with the first half. Going 1-0 up against Liverpool was great. Conceding the goal in such poor fashion as an equaliser kind of took the sting out of the game. And then since then, in the second half, we had literally one shot, maybe not even one shot on target, or even on goal. And Liverpool hit 6 into us, and that man there, Mohamed Salah, getting the fastest hat trick in Champions League history. It's shaping up to be an awful campaign for us in Europe.
I mean, the thought at Napoli away is what scares me even more, because that could be 10 in the first half. Let's all be honest with each other here. But no, as I said, I came on last week. I was positive we could get something in the first half. I was feeling confident about it. The goal goes in, you're buzzing. And then Connor Goldson goes off, and then it all kind of just
fell apart. This is probably the best way to explain it.
I can't believe, I'm looking at Barisic on my screen right now. What I would love for just 5 minutes with Barisic would be fantastic, just to slap him about a bit. But nah, mate, just devastating, as I say. Obviously Liverpool top side, you know that. But this Champions League campaign's probably just one where, as I say, no getting anything out of it. Can't see us getting anything. Even Ajax at home, I cannot see us doing anything.
Realistically, now when you say going to Napoli, we need to go to Napoli and get something to then beat Ajax at home. It's never going to happen. Let's be honest.
Going away to Napoli with potential, obviously without Connor Goldson, but the potential, obviously we know Tavernier's played through with an injury. Potential if he plays it maybe the weekend, or he plays tomorrow, whatever. Like, mate, could potentially be going there with Divine at right back again at Napoli against that Greek boy. I mean,
no chance.
Oh my God! But no, it's a scary prospect, the Napoli game, because I already knew before the Liverpool game, Napoli were going to dust us up. But I mean, my God, that, as I say, second half performance was disgusting, man. It was dreadful.
Really, it's one of them, like, you compete so well in the first half, give yourself such a good platform to build on, and then just completely capitulate in the second half. We've seen it all too much, not only under Gio, but under Gerrard, with this group of players. First half, second half, they can only play one half of football. The second half is completely different to the first at times. It's just diabolical. We've seen it all too much. And then, but to lose 7-1 at home, to me, is just, even if it is against Liverpool, man, like,
it's unacceptable, mate. Especially when you know the whole eyes of most of Europe's on you. Do you know what I mean? It's unacceptable. But yeah, again, it's a conversation that I think every fan's been having. It comes back to the board, the investment, and then obviously it comes down to the manager as well. Obviously we're going to talk about Giovanni, but I'm sort of had enough for it. Time to go, in my opinion. But especially for Barisic, oh my God, mate! I see that guy play one more game, I swear. Just everyone who's listened. I mean, I appreciate everyone who does listen, obviously is, but no, that I'm not a Barisic fan. I give him applaudance when he has a good game and what have you. But this guy, for me, is, how do you pay 5 or whatever million for a left back? He's sitting on the bench, and then obviously the rumours come out potentially in January he might be going back. Is it to Turkey on loan? I mean, that's incredible to me.
But then again, see if he does end up going back to Turkey on loan, Ross Wilson should just have his contract up in front of him. But then also, I'm thinking, is Gio not playing the guy because he's trying to make a statement? well, I didn't want this guy and you paid 5 million for him. It could have been spent elsewhere. Maybe reading into it too much, but then it could be because he's literally not featured one time. Like we all expected wholesale changes going into the Motherwell game. Still nowhere to be seen. If he's not playing on Wednesday against Dundee, then I have massive problems with that. And I wouldn't blame the guy for going checking out and be like, nah, see you later. Not played a minute in the Champions League and he's our highest fee we've paid for a player this season.
He's rated highly as well. You know,
exactly. You're never going to know what this guy's capable of if you don't play him against the best. Like I just don't get the club at the moment. Just in general, I think this podcast, the day is just there's just so much going wrong. Even though we did win against Motherwell, it's papering over massive cracks that are just visible for everybody to see. That were so visible in the game against Liverpool, and it just sort of was a sickener, an absolute sickener to take this Liverpool game. And probably the less said the better, to be honest with you, because what else can you say? Then obviously on to winning against Motherwell. Not pretty at all. Absolutely diabolical in the first half. Couldn't string a pass together. Didn't even know what we were doing. No fluidity as a team. No style. Nothing. Like absolutely nothing as a team. First 5 minutes, we had 2 chances. Kent through and goal. I mean, does really well to get the ball into his right foot. And then I just don't know what the guy does when he shoots. Like, what does that guy even think about? And then Tillman had one where he cruised over the bar. That was it for the first half. Like genuine pain watching that in that stadium, sitting freezing cold, watching us just struggle to even pass a football against Motherwell. Like so bad. And the alarm bells were ringing definitely. If we can even sustain this, because it's so bland to watch. It's just unbelievable.
And I'll be honest with you, that's for me most of the time in the league. I'll never forget that's the Johnston away game. That 1-0. That was
the epitome, I think, of what we're seeing now.
That was I thought, is he torturing these players? What is he doing? Because that is a game that haunts me, man. I'm like, so bad, as I say, mate. There's just nothing there. There's no you can't even tell you what we played, you know what I mean? What's the style? There's nothing about it.
There is nothing.
Yeah, again, I see you've picked a picture with Barisic. What you try to wind me up here?
See, the thing, Barisic is a massive talking point at the moment because he's so bad at football, right? He's for me anyway, there's fans on Twitter that, why is Tav not get the same criticism, which I understand. But Barisic, watching him so closely over the past couple of weeks, is just passing backwards. He just doesn't believe in going forward at all. Like, and when he does, he bottles it. He had good pass accuracy, good tackles completed yesterday, but his all-round play is just so negative. He gets an assist, obviously, for the corner, but apart from that, he was nearly fighting with a Motherwell fan, actually, pointed to the car park and was like, no, me and you out there.
I mean, that's embarrassing. But listen, see if he couldn't cross a ball. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, he's dug. He has no cojones, mate. He's always
half the time he can't even cross a ball either.
Exactly. He's always backwards. It's always, and it's the most annoying when we're having a good spell in a game and you're thinking, like, go at him, run at him because he can't hand, and then he's just going backwards to the keeper all the time.
Just takes the full bit of stuff and any life we had out of the left hand side. But I also don't think he's helped out with Ryan Kent playing the left hand side. I just don't think Kent offers anything to him. A lot of the time, I just don't even feel like he's got an option on at all. Ryan Kent can go and sit on the bench for the rest of the season. I don't care. Sell him in January. I don't care. His time is up. He's clearly down tools now. He's clearly just running down his contract, and he can fuck off if he thinks he's going to do that here. Get him out of the club at the earliest available moment, which is going to be January. Get a fee in for him, and I say reinvest that money, but I hopefully get somebody in a decent quality, because the only reason he's still playing is because all the other wingers are just, I wouldn't even say up to the standard of him anymore. It's just like he's had his place in the team and he's undroppable for some reason.
As I say, there's too many for me that know they're starting. Like Lundstrom, I think he's been dog. I think he's been absolutely dreadful.
He scored yesterday, but awful play, I thought.
I think he's been dreadful. I think Tavernier, he's been dreadful in the Liverpool, especially. We were looking decent. He was about the only one that was getting the ball away and allowing Liverpool back into the game for me. But there's a couple of them, mate, that it doesn't seem like they're at it. I think there's a lot of stuff maybe going on that we're probably not seeing. But I'm done with Ryan Kent. I really am. I think I'd much rather have sold him and you say reinvest in the squad, but you know this board, you know what they're like. They're not going to do that at all. They're going to make a video on Rangers TV, which you have to pay for to watch, and explain to you why they didn't invest into the squad. So,
Kent will have to go. I didn't understand playing him yesterday when Fashion Sakala sitting on the bench. To me, that is just a kick in the balls to Fashion Sakala. He wasn't bad against Liverpool at all. Even both legs, he came on with energy and actually tried to go and run at the defence. And he's the only player dropped out of the team. Just for me, like, you've got the guy on the left-hand side who isn't even contributing. Sakala is, like, I just don't get why. But then that's, again, one of those situations that we'll never know what happens behind closed doors with the decisions. So the man in the left-hand side of the photo there, Malik Tillman, hats off to him, because he, although in the first half we were poor as a team, came out in the second half, had that great run that sort of got us going. And probably could maybe win goal of the season, to be honest with you, because it was a great goal. It's just great to see a midfield runner for deep going, nah, I'm going to take this and do it myself. And I was happy to see that. A guy that we've needed to see that for as well. He needed the goal. We needed to see the quality. It was nice to see him playing in the actual middle of the park again, where he's going to be playing his football at the best level, I think, still. So, and even after that, I thought he had a really good second half. To me, I really liked Tillman's performance. Cholak up the top, didn't have any service. Ryan Kent, poor. Matondo had a couple of runs in the second half where he just beat the full team, but then it's the end product again. Lundstrom obviously gets the goal. I thought he was largely quite poor. Arfield was invisible. Tillman, obviously, as I mentioned, pretty good. Barisic, pish. King and Davies, thought they had a pretty solid game together. Tavernier, awful. And McGregor, what is he even doing for that goal? Awful. It's just you win the game and you've got people saying to you, "Oh, how can you be so raging when you've won?" And I'm like,
because it's
just not what you want to see.
As I said to you, we needed to go to Motherwell and do what obviously happened to us. We needed to go there and make a statement. You know what I mean? A 4 out of 5 for me. A 2-1 against Motherwell. That's just for me personally. It's no good enough. Do you know what I mean? Especially after the heavy defeat that we took at home, we get smacked at Ibrox. Do you know what I mean? And just to me, you need to go back out and you need to show that you're capable of playing for this club. Do you know what I mean? Tillman's goals, you say, fantastic. But it's crazy when you think about a player like Matondo in it. When he comes on at Anfield, and it looks like he looks better for that kind of game than games like this. It's a weird one for me. But as I say, mate, I just think there's a couple of the players, man, that are just, they know they're going to get picked straight away. They don't need to. Do you know what I mean? And I think that, as I say, we're going to go on to Gio, but I don't know, man.
If all it was about, as you say, we needed the reaction. We didn't even get that. We get the victory, which was obviously fine. Take the points.
It's the most important thing, of course, winning the game. But you want to win a game knowing that you've played well, you've played as a team.
I know. Again, hanging on at the end, it's just not good enough. It's just not what we should be doing.
Last couple of times we went to Motherwell, we've no scalped them.
Well, the one we were at the last time, we're down to 10 men, we came back and won 3-1. To me, that was comfortable as is, like, perfect. 6-1, Sakala hat-trick this time last year, actually. Every time we go to Motherwell, it's usually fine, but just there was nothing yesterday.
Feel so sorry for Sakala, as I say. Incredible that he was the only one that could drop there. But I think, as I say, the manager knows he's probably not got anybody else to pick.
Again, I know you need to look at that.
That's what I'm on about. It comes down to, it's like a double-edged sword, is it what they say?
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to, well, the quality the manager's got, obviously coming for the top, no investing, as we say, and then the manager as well. I don't know, man. It's one of the things where one goes, the other one's not going to improve. Do you know what I mean?
On to the managers. We got the points, of course. Giovanni is now coming under a lot of criticism after the Champions League performances so far. In general performances that we've saw in the league this season. I mean, at home we've been largely all right, but away from home it's been a struggle. Thinking back to Livingston, thinking back to what other game, Hibs, like poor. Hearts was obviously really good, but Celtic as well, to add that one in. Yesterday at Motherwell, like largely really poor, boring, bland football, and you just wonder, has Giovanni got what it takes to go and take us to the next level? But for me, I've always backed Giovanni. I will always back the Rangers manager no matter what. But at the moment, I just don't feel like I can, and that's annoying because I feel like Giovanni's been largely hard done by the board for. I mean, get beating PSV and getting to the Champions League with this squad of players is an achievement for how bad it is now. Like, but in general, after like Europe in that last season, it felt like we could go and beat anybody. It felt like, see, if we played Liverpool last season in that Europa League run, we would have hammered them at home. Like, that's what the mentality would have been in within the squad. But nowadays, it's just kind of like, we'll go out there and we'll get beat. It can't stay like that way. Like, I just don't think they've got the belief in the team anymore. I just don't think that comes for the manager either. Like, watching his press conferences, listening to him talk, I just think he's very one-dimensional. I don't watch them anymore. But in the past, when I've watched them, I've tried to watch them, I just don't see any enthusiasm coming for him.
And it's that's just what I'm on it. I can't accept that. See, when the players and the manager already accept defeat before playing the games, or because they've got this amount of money and all this. End of the day, it's individuals playing each other. That's what I think about. But it's as I say, Champions League, it's already done. The Napoli game, I'm genuinely terrified it could be 10 in the first half. They're so good. But overall, mate, as you say with Giovanni, you've backed him probably more than I've probably backed him. I won't lie. I wasn't convinced at first. You know what I mean? You think about what we were all thinking as fans. We were going to see this Dutch style of play. We get the boy for Ajax.
That's maybe one of the complaints I have, that he's not been given the ability to go and do that. I just don't feel like any of the signings are recommended by him or any of his team. Like, there is no way that there's no Dutch players in this team. I was looking at Burnley's team now, seeing they're top of the Championship. Yep. Vincent Kompany's got his stamp all over that team. He's got players for the Belgian league. He's got loanees for City. Like, you can see he's got a clear identity of that squad. Whereas I just don't feel like Gio has made any of these recommendations for the signings. Like Davies, again, Ross Wilson's dealt with Liverpool before. Yilmaz was kind of far field, like, fair enough. We all kind of appreciated that signing. Malik Tillman's probably came through Roy Mackay's recommendation, so fair enough. But then Tom Lawrence, I feel like that's just Ross Wilson.
That's what I'm on about. See those kind
Rabbi Matondo again. I just feel like that's Ross
Wilson.
Wilson.
They were never, as we say, they're never Giovanni. So I can't believe he would turn around and be like, I'll take them. But as I say, you're thinking about it. Firstly, for myself, when he brings that boy for Ajax, I'm thinking, right, cool. Maybe we can get some like potential players in there. Have them here.
You would think so.
Like the selling value as well. But as I say, mate, it all comes down to the board and all. And they'd rather spend money on fake teeth than invest in the thing with the team. Do you know what I mean? That tells me everything. I don't, as you say, I just really don't know how you don't back him. As I say, especially after the European run, we win the cup. You're thinking, right, cool, it's going to kick on for here. And then, as you say, he beat PSV to scrape past them. He beat them. Do you know what I mean? To get into the Champions League, fantastic. The group that we get handed, probably the hardest group when you look at it, with everyone. You'd much rather be in Spurs group. I think we'd have a belter a chance if we were in there.
But then the other way you got to look at it is, like, he's obviously had these shortcomings with transfers, not getting the budget, maybe the players he wants. But then you look at the style of football that we're consistently seeing now, and you're like,
as I say, for me, I judge any Rangers managed by the first Old Firm, mate. And as I say,
the first Old Firm was an absolute whitewash.
It was a white. They weren't even in it, mate. Do you know what I mean? As I say, it's just incredible to me. I think sometimes his style, as I say, I was expecting this maybe a bit exciting plays. You see, the man's played at the biggest level you can play it. You know what I mean? Champions League, World Cups. He's done it. You're thinking maybe we'll get a bit exciting in here, because I mean, as you say, with Gerrard at the end, it was pathetic. Do you know what I mean? But we're still going backwards. We're still going backwards, side to side, and that's why it was refreshing to see somebody like Tillman, as you say, go. Do you know what? Give the ball. I'm just going to drive with it straight in the goal. And I was, you know what I mean? But as I say, I like him. It's not like I'm like, oh, he's got to be sacked. You know what I mean? I like him.
That's the annoying thing for me as well,
because we all wish he'd get back. We know what's happened here. He's not been backed at all. We all know how money hungry our board is. Not what I mean. You see the one of them in the way end for Liverpool.
Exactly. You've only got to look at the amount. Exactly, 100% with that guy in the Liverpool end. Like, thankfully he's now sacked, which is great. But in terms of not only just looking at the board in terms of they have spent money on the squad, but they've clearly not spent enough with the funds they've got in. But then you've got, it's just everything else that comes with it, like the Champions League packages, the overpriced tickets, the overpriced food and match days. Like, just
Justin, man.
everything is so overpriced and so thrown down your throat that you need to, there's 20 quid there, there's 40 quid there, or you want to take this out, there's another. Like, it's just constant, and that's what's getting to Rangers fans, because they're not seeing anything put onto the pitch at all.
But that's what you said to me as well about a Liverpool game with the whole fire behind me, but the behind.
It was just a spectacle to look good.
But that's what I'm on about. Well, I think the board are looking too much at the teams down in England and going, right, we've got to be like that to bring new fans in or what have you. Do you know what I mean? To create that, as you said to me, just let the fans create the atmosphere, because that's how we do it, mate. We turn up, we create the atmosphere, and we get through in Europe. I mean, as I say, being at the games, it wasn't anything that the board or whatever done. It was us getting behind the team. Do you know what I mean? So, as I say, I just think they're looking too much to commercialise it and what have you. I wouldn't, as I say, I want them to sell it. And I think if the way that they're going about it, they might be trying to sell it. I'd love for them to sell it. Get the Saudis and get somebody in that's going to do something with the club.
We need forward thinking staff. We need people that want to take the club forward. They'll all say they want to take it forward, but we all know they're currently regressing as we go on.
And see the whole part after the Liverpool game and all, with Ali McCoy and I don't care about 10 years ago, mate. I live in the present, and I want my club to be able to compete at the Champions League level like we were promised that we were going to be. Do you know what I mean?
To me, what that now is always, see that line that's always rehashed whenever we fall short in big games. Oh, look where they were. It's just an excuse to paper over how shite we were. Like, exactly. we're in now. We're in the Champions League. We're not fucking that team for 10 years ago playing Elgin. Like, we're now here. We're a Champions League level team, and we're getting battered at home. It's not a case of, oh, look where they were 10 years ago. Look where we are now, getting battered.
Exactly.
Like, it's just... They just don't want to take ownership for what's currently in front of their eyes, and that's something which is hard to take when you're getting beat so heavily. The football's so bad, like, it's going through a really tough period, but you need to look at it head on, and you need
to... As I say, sorry, mate, but I just feel so sorry for the guy, because he's a manager that if he was fully backed, you'd believe in him. You'd believe in him all the way. But as I say, the football that I've seen, as I say, I think about the Sir Johnston game and also the Motherwell game there, and a lot of the league games, as I say, the Livingston game we were at. It's no good enough for me.
No.
We need to be going to these teams, and as I say, maybe I'm wrong for thinking that we need to be going there and looking to be dominant and put performances on. But I don't know. Obviously, you're not given right to beat any team. Do you know what I mean? But
I think a big reason is the tactics, and because of how poor it is now, scraping by teams, and although you never want to say it, you look at Celtic going beating Hibs 6-1 at home, like after coming off a couple of bad results, like they're reacting and they're showing their fans like, no, we can still go out and batter teams, and I don't see this Rangers team ever doing that. I'm not going to lie. But
then you've got to admire I also think as well, you've got to admire what he's doing, because he's working with scraps as well. You think about it, he's working with scraps.
At the moment, I think this is probably the weakest we've been.
You've got to admire the fact that he's got to go, right, cool, you're going to have to play centre half, you're going to have to... Do you know what I mean? And he's scraping results by, and he's still keeping us just neck and neck there. But at the same time, it's just so bland and boring to watch. It's either one goes and then somebody else comes in, it's going to be the same. It's for me, the people at the top are the ones that need to go. And then obviously you've got everyone calling for, get Michael Beale and all this. I don't want none of that. I'll be honest with you personally. I know you sent me something with Marcelo. I wouldn't wish.
But then what you can identify about Marcelo Bielsa is why I would love to see him as a manager at Rangers. Is the football is going to be exciting. You know what you're going to get. Whereas like Giovanni at the moment, you just don't know what you're going to get. We don't even know what we do in the pitch. I don't see any identity. We are a Bielsa team or something. You know what you're going to get. There's plenty of managers out there, I think, they would take this job. It's going to be a hard job to come into, even if Gio does go in the coming weeks.
See if he goes, who would you bring in? Because see, for me personally, I'm blank. I'm like, I don't know.
I've got three recommendations that I think they would work out pretty well for us. I would take Knutson for Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt have now unbelievable team in Europe for such a small league, kind of unknowns. They've made really good players, working on a tight budget and competing. I think he would be a really good fit for us. Obviously, being touted for Premier League moves as well, so there's something about him. Marcelo Bielsa obviously is the second one. I think it would be a great appointment for us, just for that identity of football. And the third one for me would be Domenico Tedesco, the former Leipzig manager that we played last season. He's now out of a job. Why not? Why not go out balls to the wall and go and get somebody like that? That's the three that I have in my head at the moment.
Also, obviously, I know Bielsa very well. Still adore him. See what Bielsa would want to do. That board wouldn't back any. I'm telling you right now. Do you know what I mean? That board wouldn't do any of what he would want to do. And the players as well. I don't know if the players could physically handle the demands that he brings in training constantly. Motherwell, could they handle that?
This current squad couldn't, but if a manager comes in and gets his players and
over, Bielsa comes in, you know what I mean? Make us be part of that Man City group. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
I'm done with these people at the top that just want people's money. They don't care about the club. They just want the money. And there's no investment. There's no, do you know what I mean? Oh, there you go. There's more players on the park. There's back in the manager.
But and then it's so clear to see is I'll bring up the thing with the fire cannons as well. It's just something that really annoyed me for that Liverpool game. Like they've got all that out for the spectacle. Oh, we're playing Liverpool in the Champions League, and then you see Scott Arfield and Ryan Jack and Stephen Davis coming on. Like, how can you get such a big spectacle and that's what you're on the pitch for you? Like, just so much wrong at the club. It starts for the boardroom, it filters all the way down to the management and then onto the pitch. It's just a really toxic place. And now, I'm not saying the best possible thing would be to remove Gio, but if we did, that's a couple of recommendations for me. I mean, it seems inevitable that it's going to happen. That's probably why we're talking about it. I think, I'm
so sorry for him, but at the same time,
you've got to do what's best for the club.
You've got to do what's best for the club. The club always comes first, no matter what. The club always comes first. I wouldn't mind Michael Beale. I love Michael Beale. But I don't think he would. He knows he's got experience with this board, and he knows clearly, obviously, what happened.
It's
so
pretty clear.
He wanted to fire himself into it, and plus he's firing on cylinders right now. Is he not with Queen's Park Rangers as well?
He's
one of our best defenders that was let go. Do you know what I mean? He's been perfectly slotted in right now.
Exactly. Just so much wrong. Again, that even another problem. Like, it's probably best to move on to the Dundee game, which Gio will be in charge for, and hopefully we actually see something for this game that's going to be positive. Dundee still last season relegated, Championship, sort of similar team that they have for that last season as well. Really, they were shocking last season, and we still struggled to beat them at their park that day. But this is a team I'd like to see. McCrory signed a new contract. Why not go and give him a chance in goals? Devine, probably the dead cert to play. Taverniers, no chance he's playing. Sands and King. I was messaging a guy on Twitter the day actually when I was putting out this team, and he said, Sands and King will play this game, and then Davies and King, and then Sands and Davies can play. So you've got the rotation with the three of them at the moment. Nobody's playing more than 3 games a week, and you've got all your centre halves fit, which could work out. And it feels like Sands has kind of been just chucked into the bin. To be honest with you, I'm looking forward to see him getting another opportunity. Yilmaz, he has to play. Or it's like, what's the point? Charlie McCann, Stephen Davis, Malik Tillman. You only really need to play with one defensive midfielder here for me. And then Sakala, deservedly back in. Morelos, hopefully, bags himself a goal. And then Scott Wright will play. As much as we might not like that, he's definitely going to play. That's a team, not that I would like to see against Dundee, but the team that I think will probably play the game.
I think right now, see if I was Charlie McCann, this is a perfect time to just go and put a performance in.
Definitely.
I think he could. I'd play him at the weekend as well. Right? I mean, he'll probably will play, but I'd like to see Matondo just play, because this is what I'm wondering. See with Matondo, how is he supposed to build any confidence if he's getting dropped in and out of the team constantly?
No.
Get a guy a decent run. McCrory, I forgot he was at the club, as I say, and then he signs that new deal, and you're thinking, what's he signed the new deal just to watch the team play football? Like, can we all do that? But I really like to see him come in. As I say, we go back to the 2 games he came in that were crucial games for us, and he did fantastically well. As you say with Yilmaz, it's time. If he doesn't play this game, then he's clearly going to be away. My boy Sands, come out and prove them all wrong again. Come out and do it again. World Cup future winner is my boy Sands, I'm telling you. Devine, he's got to play, as you say, Guy Tavernier a wee rest, but you wouldn't be shocked if Tav plays as well, would you? Do you know what I mean? He's that kind of guy where he'll maybe just suck it up and play, but Devine's one for me and all. It's a bit, I don't think he's the best, but
again, he's still learning, still yet to see what it's actually he's going to be like. We're now kind of seeing as King gets more games, which he's going to be like, and he's growing and stuff. So
I'd like to see Charlie McCann just really make a statement. I want to see him play in the first team because I can't watch.
There is no reason why he shouldn't be. That's maybe the biggest problem.
Jack and Davis and all this now, man. It boils my blood to the point, man. I really can't.
Yeah.
I would love to see.
And again, Ryan Jack out with a long-term injury. That'll be him finished at Rangers.
He's got to be done.
We'd be lucky if we even see him back in a Rangers jersey, by the way, because you know, when he gets an injury, it's reoccurring. You don't see him for ages. I think that's him done at Rangers as well. So, that's the podcast. It's been good to actually get that out of the system and actually talk about Rangers. And now we can move into hopefully a bit more stress-free in the cup. Players get opportunities and go and get the victory in that, and then we move on to Livingston at home, which again, another opportunity for players hopefully get games. We just need to see the level of performance improve, like just show something positive, please. And I'm happy if we get the victory. So if you can like, subscribe, share for us, always appreciated while we're on this horrible journey at the moment. But until then, we'll see you.